Shalom, giving all praise to Jehovah, Shemal, Shabbat, Shemal, Kakodash. Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. Let's see where the Spirit takes me on this one. I'm going to entitle this video, Back to the Basics. Revelation chapter 17, and I'm going to touch on Revelation chapter 19, verse 20 and 21. And I may skip around on the 19th chapter of Revelation, but I was in the Zandervan's, not the compact, but the Zandervan Illustrated Bible Dictionary. And I was looking up, so I was actually looking up the word Gentile. I was going to do a lesson on that. But let me do this. Okay, so I came across the word Gehenna. And now, let me do this here. Because you got Christians teaching that, if you don't get right with Jesus, the Christ, that you're going to burn in hell. And you're going to burn in hell forever. And recently, when I say recently, I'm talking about 3-4 months, I ran into a video by the infamous IUIC, the false accusers, the IUIC. And there was some individuals that was teaching, I believe, that was out of Tennessee. I believe I still have it up. And this is the first time I heard this come out of anybody from the IUIC. I don't know if I still got it. I thought I had it up there, but okay, I do have it. And this is this. Okay, so I'm gonna let you listen. So this is a new doctrine as far as IUIC is concerned. The leadership, or some of the leadership, Bishop Nathaniel. Well, now he's Nathaniel Alaga. He went back to his old name. He's going back to the Paleo Hebrew. I guess he did that when Ithon left. He said, now I can go back to the Paleo Hebrew. Give me a second. Yeah, I just got finished eating a handful of organic red onions. I took like a slice and I cut it up and I ate it, and I can feel it all in my spirit. That's you should get into that. Eating raw garlic, eating raw onions, raw organic onions. If you're going to get any type, the best is to get the red, which they look purple. So anyway, I'm surprised I got this up. Let me get back in on my train of thought. This is very new. I don't know when the leadership of the IUIC started teaching this, and this is why we get on them. And they get mad at the fact that we're constantly getting on them. And there's a reason why we get on them, because they go off. We call it the gospel according to Bishop Nathaniel. And he's doing real good from what I heard. But most of the stuff that he teaches is pretty much, he regurgitates, just like me, the various different breakdowns, the prophetic breakdowns. I teach it just the way I was taught it. by the main teacher, and all of them taught that, but the main individual that got into the prophetic, that went into the whole break, they would go into like Revelation 11, just break the whole chapter down, just go through the whole chapter. You know, you got other guys that are, they'll hit, they may go to Revelation 11 and 8, then they'll go from there to Daniel 7, and they'll jump to Daniel 2nd, and they'll go to Jeremiah 50 and Isaiah 13. They jump all over the place. So, you know, you learn that way, which is good, precept upon precept. But sometimes you have to, you know, go tackle um, the whole chapter. Because if you're out there and you're dealing with a Christian that knows the script, there's some Christians out there that know the scriptures, you know, that are so-called apologists. I mean, even vocab, he knows his way around the book. He doesn't understand the book, but he knows his way around the book. So when you know, mention John the Baptist, he knows. When you mention the book of Obadiah, he knows it's the Old Testament. You know, he knows the difference between the king of Israel and the prophet and so forth. And then you got other apologists that have been trained in what I call theological cemeteries. A lot of people are using that term now. Even Bishop Nathaniel, I'm the one that coined that term. Theological cemeteries. I'm the one that coined the term through the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Glory be to God. Just having fun. Um, the term, the term, plantation Christianity. I came up with that. I invented that. The term Renaissance Christianity is Christianity the white man. Esau's brand of Christianity from Europe, starting out of Spain, coming out of Italy, because Spain had the highest seat over Italy, but a lot came out of Italy, like the Renaissance came out of Italy and hit Spain. So, and that's a part of the same beast. So when you go into the rebirth of the beast, you know, you got to mention Spain and you got to mention Italy. And then when you go into it, you mention Britain and the other. So they all came back, because guess what? They're all back. They're all together. The beast is back together. The beast wasn't fully back together during the time of Christopher Columbus or Christopher Colon, but the beast came back together through the years, through two major organizations, the EU and NATO. So you could do, that's a separate lesson right there. But anyway, we go into all these different prophetic scriptures. So you have to know some history of NATO. You have to know some history of the EU, not every aspect of the information, but you got to know something about the Roman Empire, you know, and to know when Esau lost his seat of power and Jake came up in there. Was Jake came up in there, the first Jake, and I always go through this, sound like a broken record, but it's called a reaffirmation. So when you deal with somebody and they'll say, well, all the Roman Caesars were white. No, they were not. The last white Roman Caesar to rule was Domitian, the younger brother of Titus, the second son, I believe. It was the second son, the younger son of Vespasian, you know. And Christians don't really know that, except the ones that really study and go into the history, the so-called scholars. But anyway, let me come back on track. So coming back to the One West days, you know, the majority of the stuff that Bishop Nathaniel teaches is pretty much the same things that we teach, because we were taught by the same teachers. As a matter of fact, he came up under me and I taught him from what I learned from them, but he also came up under them, because he was under my camp, another man in my camp, which there's only two men left from the camp that I ran back in the late 80s, early 90s. That was Apostle Gabar and a Bishop Nathaniel. The rest of them are back in the world. Some of them are dead. Some of them are bugged out. So during that time, this is why we got to go back to the basics and hit them prophetic scriptures. Got to go back and forth in it, because brothers, if they do, brothers kind of go off a little here and there. You know, one brother, I'm not gonna mention his name, diligent brother, he went off. I kind of got told another apostle, to talk to the brother, whatever. As soon as the brother talked to him, it's not important who it was. He took the video down, he redid the video the right way. So that's why I'm, calling this back to the basics, but I'm focusing on, Revelation 19 and Revelation 17. And I may hit all the prophetic books, like the first 3 chapters of Revelation, pretty much self-explanatory. Going into the 4th, really going into the 5th, and 4th, kind of, sort of, but you're talking about Revelation chapter 5, Revelation chapter 6, Revelation chapter 7, Revelation chapter 8, 9, 10. Those are all up until 22. Those are all prophetic. And these Christians they don't understand it. The book has been sealed pursuant to Isaiah. Give this, I pray thee. I believe that's either Isaiah 28 or 29. Let me go to that real quick. Okay, Apocrypha move. Watch that video. There's going to be a lot of attention on that video. From the Bible Destruction Group. So what you call is Apostle Ramlab is live right now. Let me see. Where was I going to go to? Okay. Either Isaiah 28. I think it's Isaiah 28. Isaiah. I always get them confused. Isaiah 28. I'll tell you in a minute. Okay. It's Isaiah 29. Okay, here it is right here. Isaiah 29, and I'll go right to the point. I'll go to the 10th verse. For Yahweh hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes, the prophets, and your rulers, the seers, have he covered, except for the elect prophets of the Most High. That's why these churches, you can't, look, it was proven through the IUIC. They did a church blitz. They don't do that no more, because they found out the hard way that those, those jakes that go to church, they don't want to hear what you got to say. The scriptures say, let us reason together. They don't want to sit down and reason. They don't want to reason. They go by what the pastor tells them. And that really happens with these Israelite groups. You got the head of a particular Israelite group, he'll say this, that, and the third, and he'll blindly follow it. I hate to say it, but IUIC, whatever Bishop Nate says, they blindly follow it, including the fellow leadership. They fancy them as some kind of God, which is very dangerous. I'm gonna give you a little example of what I mean. Back, we're talking about 96, 97. There was a split, and Bishop Nathaniel was instrumental in that, along with others that I'm not going to mention because they're no longer in the truth. They're back in the world. They know that they're Israelites, but they're not on YouTube. They're not on the highways and the byways, not pushing this word like the way we push it, you know. But he was one of the guys that was instrumental in that split because they didn't respect Marshall, which is King David. So they were saying, well, this is the king, this is King David. So they got to Marshall's ear to split. And then once the split happened, they pretty much started kicking people out for different reasons. You know, we were the first because of the Cornelius thing. But then later I told King Marshall, I said, look, I said, they're going to wind up kicking you out too. He said, nah, they ain't going to kick me out. And then sure enough, they kicked him out. They didn't really kick him out, but they caused a split because of Bishop Nathaniel and his dreams. Which, by the way, he had a dream, and he told us in front of the house of David. We were always outside. We would talk, and he would have all these dreams, these different dreams. He would tell us dreams. One of the dreams he had, I don't know if you remembered it, was that he had a dream that he lost the oil pursuant to Matthew's chapter 25. And mind you, he was teaching on Matthew's 25 about the 10 virgins. 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. The five that were wise had oil in their lamps. So when they went to trim their lamps, the fire came on and stayed on, fueled by the oil. That's what happens when you go to the story of the Maccabees. They had enough oil for one day, but the oil kept the fire going for 8 days. So that was a miracle, you know. So Bishop Nathaniel, this bishop, let me I got to get used to saying this. Bishop Nathaniel, he's back to being Nathaniel. Maybe he's getting the oil back. I don't know. He's back to being Nathaniel. Anyway, he said that he had a dream, and he can speak on this. He had a dream, and most of those dreams that he had pretty much came. He would dream something, and the shit would come to pass. Not all of them, but he had a dream that the oil had left him. He had the oil. The Most High took the oil from him. Do you remember that, Bishop Nate? Nathaniel? And then he was without the oil. He was without the oil. But then at the end of the dream, the Most High restored the oil back. So when did that come to pass? Most of his dreams come to pass. Because he said the reason why he said Marshall is not King David, because he told him in a dream to put pork juice into the rice and give it to the people. And when he woke up from the dream, he said, that's not King David. Well, if you had a dream that your wife committed adultery, are you going to kill your wife, or are you going to divorce the wife? And then when you go to court, well, what's the evidence that she committed adultery? Well, I had a dream that she committed adultery. They're going to look at you like you crazy. They're going to get the guys with the white suits on and put you in that padded room with a straight jacket on and give you medication and applesauce all day and all night. So, you know, Esau's a logical man. He doesn't deal with dreams. All right? The scriptures say dreams lift up fools, but dreams are also spiritual, which are a dream that comes to pass is a vision. At first, it's a dream to you. You think about it, and it's an actual vision. Okay? So, was that dream a vision? Did he lose the oil? And if he lost the oil, when did he lose the oil? He had to have lost the oil between 1996 to the present. So we're talking what, 96, 2006, 2016? We're talking over 20 years. We're talking what, 20, was it 2000, 1996, 2006, 2016? So we're talking almost 28 years. So in So within that 28-year period, he had to, if that dream is an actual vision, because he claims all his visions, all his dreams are visions, when did it come to pass? When did it come to pass? And coming back to what I said, I'm a little jumping all over the place. They blindly follow him and they fancy him as a god. So whatever he says, they just go by. When he's 2016, he spoke about the new moon being the full moon. Remember when he said it? It was around a time when the birth of a nation came out, because we saw the movie. It was myself. It was Apostle Gabar, Apostle. I believe it was Apostle Apostle Ricard, Apostle Ramlab, and the Bishop Manatazak. I believe it was us. It could have been somebody else. So it was like we're talking about five of us. So right after we watched the movie, we did a video on it. It was outdoors somewhere. We parked someplace. We did an impromptu video. I might be able to find. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look for it and see if I can find it. Maybe put it back up. So in that video, and we were getting on him about the new moon being the full moon going off, and there was another video that I'll put up that I was watching that somebody put a comment on, kind of praising us. You brothers been holding it down for years. So I said, what? Let me click on the video, and there's a video dealing with it was part 4 of a video dealing with the new moon and the full moon, and that video had to be originally put up back in 2016. All right. So we did maybe a couple of videos because he said, I did the research and I did this, and the spirit was dealing with me. And I believe he said he had a dream. And even the white man's documents even backed me up. So my thing is, you know us, we're the defenders of the gospel. We jumped on him, man. He said, man, you going off. But guess what? He's been teaching it since 2016. So we're talking about what? 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we're talking almost 8 years. He's been teaching it. And then there were a handful of people that left out because he changed it up. Well, guess what? The Cornelius thing that we got kicked out of because we said Cornelius was an Israelite, and we even we said, well, we won't teach it, or let's cast a lot. I said cast a lot. He said casting a lot is wicked. So now I don't know when he did it, but now after coming on YouTube, we're finding out that he was on YouTube in 2006. GOCC was on YouTube in 2006, and I believe Zabak, and this was during the time of Priest Bun Lawyer. I believe they got on YouTube 2006, 2007. YouTube came on the scene in 2005. And we knew about that. We said, oh, Bishop, the IUIC is on YouTube. And we were going to go on YouTube, but the Spirit had me kind of wait. Then later, going into 2007, in July, the month of July, that's when we did our first video. So anyway, I'm all over the place. Anyway, so we're watching his videos, 2008, goes by 2009, I believe it was 2009. We're going back and forth with that guy. We're making a video, he's making a counter video. We're cursing him out, he's cursing us out, him and Barak Shah. Which Barak Shah ain't doing too much of shit. He got a website. It's dead. It's the desert. But he one of the videos he did with, I believe it was Barak Shah, was on Cornelius, and he broke. Cornelius is an Israelite. This blah blah. I said, what? Cornelius is a what? Then we did videos on that same. Well, wait a minute. You kicked us out because you said Cornelius wasn't an Israelite. He's an Edomite. So now you're teaching it, but are you going to apologize? No apology. No apology. At one time, he taught his congregation to eat pork. You can't keep the laws. They remember, keep the laws and do this and do that and keep the laws. And you got to keep the laws. And where's the fringes at? They keep the laws. So they went from that to you don't got to keep the laws. As a matter of fact, you can't keep the laws because we're under grace. So you got to start breaking laws. And you got to prove to us that you're not keeping the laws by eating pork. And you know the congregation was with it. Okay, we'll eat pork, no problem. We under grace. We ain't under the laws. There's 14 individual men, not women. All right. Scripture speak about silly women being led away captive with diverse lusts. There was 14 men that was in that congregation. I believe it was on the Friday. And then by the way, this is Bishop Nathaniel. He had my number and he called me out the blue. This had to be 2000. This was before YouTube. This had to be 2002, maybe something like that. Maybe 2003. He had my number. He called me out the blue. And he explained, what happened in school and this, that, and the other, and the breakup. This happened, that happened. And then he said that he realized he went off when he told them to eat pork, that you got to eat pork. Don't keep the laws. We're under grace. Matter of fact, you got to break the laws to prove that you're not keeping the laws. And you have to eat pork in front of us. That's Antiochus Epiphanes spirit. They force you to eat the pork. So 14 men, he realized that Monday, I think it was a Friday, he said it, that Monday, he realized 14 guys was missing. They didn't come back Monday, they didn't come back Tuesday, whatever day it was. They didn't come back. They just disappeared. They left. Shalom, see you next Monday or whatever. Never showed up. And then right then he realized he fucked up. He went off. So I don't know when they started going back into the law. No, he said don't teach. They were saying don't go on the highways and the byways. Now they're back. They're going on the highways and the byways. But the leadership of IUIC don't have to go out on the highways and the byways. All right. Scripture said, meddle not with him that is given the change. He went back to his old name. Every once in a while, he'll throw Yahweh and Yahushai out there. So I said all this to say that. I said all that to say this. If he never changed the Cornelius being a, Edomite thing, keep teaching it to this day, they would have defended it. Nah, Cornelius is an Edomite. If you go to this precept, you come over to that precept, and it says he's an Italian, so Italians are white people, so they blindly follow this guy. And I hope, and I've been saying this recently, I hope and I pray that he doesn't tell them to take the Charagma. Because he did it, he mentioned it, he threw Revelation 13 in there again last night. We caught like maybe 10 minutes of him speaking. He was teaching this and going to Revelation 6 and Revelation that and the 10 virgins and 5 foolish and so forth. And then he quickly threw in, by the way, Revelation 13 is talking about sin in any form, be it religious or political. All right. We watch his videos. You listen to his videos when we're coming back from camp. So I don't know. I hope he doesn't keep that energy. I hope when they actually set up them Charagma stations and people got to get them, and if you don't get them, you ain't going to work and you ain't going to get no money. You can't buy and sell. They're going to run to him. They're going to look for him on that horse. And they're going to say, what do we do? What do we do, Master, Bishop, Master, Big Brother Almighty, Nathaniel? What do we do? Now, if he says there's nothing wrong, you can go ahead and take it. You look. What about GMS? He's there. The hell with GMS. GMS are a bunch of bums. Don't listen to them bums. You better listen to us bums when they set up them Charagma stations. And we always bring this up. The Charagma being issued. And it's going to happen. And that comes along with the smart cities and the 15-minute cities and the 20-minute cities. So You know, when he said Cornelius the Israelite, everybody accepted. So, okay, the new moon, everybody accepted, right? I hope this dude don't tell him to go ahead and take it, because there's going to be a lot of 5,000, 10,000 that follow him. He's going to send a lot of them to hell. He's going to send a lot of them to the lake of fire. Anyway, so he's saying that the lake of fire in in uh in the book of Revelation is talking about eternal hell. It's not talking about the destruction and America being on fire and all that. It's talking about a spiritual eternal hell that you burn forever, which was never taught in one West. Well, it was brought up a couple of times by High Priest Yeshaya. He used to sneak it in there every couple of years, and he used to always get brought to council and got cursed out, and then would go back to it. Then when Comfy came in, Comfy brought back the hell doctrine. So during the time of Comfy, when I say Comfy, I'm talking about Tazadakia, a chief apostle, whatever, high priest, exalted high priest, Tazadakia. He brought that hell doctrine in there. So guess what? They were all believing it, and that includes Ariel. Ariel didn't stand up. High Priest Ariel didn't stand up. High Priest Shaw didn't stand up. I would have fucking but I would have been gone anyway. I was going, but I would have been left. I would have been left before he said he was a comforter. I would have been left before he said, oh, Mary was a virgin. I would have been left. See, like I said, the majority of these people that come into Israel are zombies, are lost souls, are sheep easily led, easily led. Like, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna go into this video. If Bishop Nathaniel got up one day and said, "Oh, I had a vision," and I mean, this was a vision. There wasn't no dream, you know, because I went to the bathroom, came back, fell asleep, and the vision was on pause. Well, that's how you know it's a vision. And it started back up, and in that vision, in that dream, that people were getting charagma, and I saw Revelation 13 and 16, and I heard a voice saying, the MOTB is what GMS says it is. GMS is right. GMS is right. GMS is right. They're correct. Follow them. You're being led astray. You must come back to the truth or you will die. I'm just having fun with this. Got to have fun with this. You got to be a little crazy. But anyway, he'll get all nervous. He'll wake up in the cold sweat. And they'll be afraid. Oh no, if I say that, they're gonna leave me and they're gonna follow a GMS in them. And GMS, they're gonna be living good. So he goes ahead, he comes to the conclusion that I'm gonna tell them the truth. He tells them the truth. And guess what? As soon as he tells them the truth, they're gonna all see it. They're gonna all miraculously their eyes are gonna open. If he decides to go back and says Cornelius is an Edomite, I was wrong on that. Okay, since he said it when he was on the horse, Cornelius is an Edomite again. Meddle not with him that is given to change. For the record, we never changed the way we taught. The first time you saw the Revelation 13, 16 video, the first time we did a video on that, and the way we broke it down, I don't know, back in 2010, 2009 or whatever, 2008, 2014, 2016, up until now, give me one video where we changed it. We might have said, well, see, now they're actually doing it. But give me one video where we changed it. We broke it down the same way we always been breaking it down. This man right here, he changes the Revelation 13 and 16 doctrine. He changed it around. He said back in 2014, 2013 or whatever, 2012, he said that that's not talking about people. It has nothing to do with people. It's talking about corporations and countries. Now it's talking about people, but it means sin. So look, the Most High set us up, the true prophets of the Lord, to warn you. I'm not gonna get a vision from the Most High and not tell the people, the potential elect, because if I know the vision and I hide it, guess what? They're gonna die, but their blood is gonna be on my hands. He doesn't realize that. He doesn't realize how much power you yield or willed. There's the word yield or willed. Help me out, somebody. Willed. He doesn't know how much power he has on the minds of the people. And that goes for us too. There's a lot of people that listen to us. A lot of people that listen to us. Thousands of people listen to us. So it's up to us. We're responsible for telling you the whole truth. And he's not. And this is why we get on him. And we don't get on him for him to change. We get on him for other people to see it that's thinking about joining the IUIC. You better think twice. You better think twice. So anyway, let me read this. This is a little long. It says, Isaiah 29:11, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. That's why vocab can't get none of the prophetic breakdowns, because it's sealed to you. Most High is not dealing with you, which men deliver to one that is learned. Theological cemetery, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. Let's look up the word sealed. Remember, Yahushua opened the seal in Revelation 5. See, nobody can tell me nothing. Ariah can't tell me, look, Tar, you go, Ariah, you can't tell me a goddamn thing because you ain't on the level no more. And we got to bring you back on the level. Others have entered into their labor. We entered into your labor. And the Most High is dealing with us now. The juice is with us. Now the juice is with you. Okay, so the word here is chatham, to seal up, affix, seal, one seal to seal up, fasten, to make tight, close up, fasten your jacket, meaning button it up, by sealing, to seal, to lock up. Did not the Lord give David the keys? Did not the Lord give Peter the keys? To do what? To open up. To be stopped. That's why you got a lot of Jake. That's why you got Jakes going to church every Sunday. You can't tell them nothing because there's a spirit on them that they can't see the truth. So they're going to have to die on this side. And that's a root, a primitive root. Got to go into the etymology. So anyway, let's go into this. Where is it? Okay, I pulled it all the way over here. Okay, so let's listen to a little bit of this. Okay, you see this guy? He can come into IUIC and he can keep that long hair. They're not going to tell him to cut his hair. What these guys do, they receive whatever the leadership teaches them and they regurgitate it. That's all they do. That's what the precept package is all about. That's all they do. They regurgitate what they learn. They rehearse how to say something and they regurgitate it. So they don't have their own mind. So let's listen.
You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. It's not carnal. Let me show you something. Give me Luke chapter 1, verse 68. It ain't carnal, bro. We're not telling anybody to pick up arms. Absolutely not. It is.
I'm not saying that y'all become fascist. I'm not saying that y'all killing others that don't believe it's right.
But I have to say that for the edifying of everybody out there. I just want to make sure you understand that that's not us. That's another group.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
What?
I've seen it. Islam and Christianity.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But you ain't gonna see it in the Israelites.
Right.
That's what I want you to see. That ain't us. We don't believe that. You know who our defender is? Jesus the Christ.
Right.
He's gonna bring the vengeance, not us. We don't.
You heard him say Jesus the Christ. Now, how can you be an Israelite and call it by a cool name? That's the same name that the church is called. So if that's the true name, do you know how hard these church goers call on, yo, Jesus, oh, open me up. Well, they call it on the right name, according to you guys. Then they used to say, oh, well, we say Jesus because they don't understand. They can't understand Yahushua, but you got to change your name to some Hebrew name. Please make this make sense. Somebody.
We want to avenge ourselves. We wait on Messiah to do that. Watch this. Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel. Lord God of the whole world. Of Israel. Of Israel. He's only our God, brother. Come on. For he hath visited and redeemed his people. Read. And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Meaning what? The horn of salvation, that horn is going into rulership, kingship. Who's the king, brothers? Christ is our king. And
that's like taking the fingers and scratching the chalkboard. You see? And I would if I was coming up in that thing, I would say, wait a minute, why are we calling on Christ when we know the Hebrew? Yeah, because people don't understand the Hebrew. Then why you tell me to change my name to a Hebrew name? What kind of sense does that make? Please, somebody make it make sense.
And he raised him up through the lineage of King David. Right. Meaning what? Christ, he's from the tribe of Judah. Read. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets. And we read some of that already today. Right. Meaning what? Christ was prophesied throughout this whole Bible. That he would do what? Come and save his people from their enemies. Watch this. Which have been since the world began. We're the former of all things. We're the former of all things. Before mankind was created, we was with the Most High in the heavens. He sent us here to do a mission. Guess what? We failed. He punished us, but he still chose us. Right. That's right. Now we get ourselves back together. So when it's all said and done, when he brings that destruction, he's still coming to save his people. That we should be saved from our enemy. We should be what? Saved from our enemy. From our what? Our enemy. It's about the same thing from cover to cover. Right. Romans chapter 12, verse 17. Same thing from cover to cover, that we're going to be saved from our enemies. Meaning what? Who's the one killing us dead in the streets, bro? Bring it out. Ourselves. Ourselves too, but who does it start with? Think about it. Think about it, bro. Give me Psalms 106 and 35. Let me show you something. Let me show you something, bro. You know why our brothers kill each other? Think about 400 years of something called what? Slavery. Slavery. Do you know why we play basketball? Because the white man taught it to us. Yeah. Do you know why we sell dope and have groups called Junior Mafia? Because the white man taught us to do that. That ain't our culture. Our culture's on the laws of God. And we forgot it. The white man is the mobster. The white man is the dog. You Israelites, you're supposed to be righteous. The Israelites are supposed to be righteous. There we go. We ain't no thugs and mobsters, man. You got what I want? Read that. Psalms chapter 106, verse 35. But we're mingled among the heathen. We've been here for so long, bro. We've been mingled amongst our enemies for so long. Read. And learn their work. We learn after everything they do. That's why people in church on Sunday when God say Saturday. That's why people say.
I added to the scripture. He said when God said Saturday. There's no scripture in the King James. Now, if you go to the NLT or the other interpret translations, it'll say Friday. I believe NLT it says Friday, which that's a lie. It's not Saturday. He said which is supposed to be on Saturday. No, it's not. It says 6 days shall you work, and on the seventh is a Sabbath. You got a Sabbath, and it starts with the new moon. According to you guys, y'all said that the new moon was set up in the heavens, which is true on the fourth day. So really, your Passover should have really been on the 18th day of, how can we break it down? Yeah, the 18th day instead of 14 days from the new moon, which is the full moon, which the new moon is really when the moon is invisible. All right?
Celebrate Christmas when Jeremiah 10 tells you not to. Read it again from the top. But we're mingled among the heathen and learn their works. Did what?
That's a good precept, by the way. Psalms 106:35. That's a good precept. He hit, you know, that was a good one. Give him credit on that.
And learn their work. That's the issue. We now follow after them. Guess what? When we see our brother in the street, we don't see him like a God on earth. We see him as a nigga that's gonna rob me. We see him as a nigga that owe me money. We see him as a nigga that got J's on that I won't. But we're mingled among the heat. So, bro, what you see before you. Right. We know it's on us. Why do you think we go to city every day to wake up people up and check it out? How in the world we gonna come together if you don't believe what we read? 1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Listen to this before you say something else. Watch this. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. We cannot come together in the same mind if we believe different things. Watch this. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord.
You all speak the same thing.
Verse 14. For the love of Christ, it has constrained us. As what? To him. No, we can't do what we want to do. No, we can't think what we want to do.
I kind of went back too far. I'm trying to find a place where he speaks about hell.
Our mind has to be subjugated to the laws of God. Read. That if one died for all, then we're all dead. We're all dead, meaning what? We're dead to the laws of God. That you present your bodies a living sacrifice to never. One more time. But the will of the Father, which has sent me. Line with God's mind. Right. I'm going to show you that. Watch this. The book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity. Hell, living in hell right now. Because our people don't want to.
Just found it.
Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself. Therefore, what? Hell hath enlarged herself. Read the first line of verse 13. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity. Read the first verse of 14. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself. Living in hell right now. Because our people don't want to follow God's commandments. This is hell. But a lot of our people get this situation.
Like I said, been saying, you got to qualify, what you mean by the scriptures. When you say we in hell, the condition is hell. No, hell means grave. It means pit or grave. That's what it means. Then you can say hell is also a condition. When somebody says hell, King David said hell can pass me about. It's not talking about an actual hell. It was talking about a condition, meaning the condition that he was in. I'm one step closer to getting put to death. Somebody can hit me with an arrow. Somebody can chop my head off. David, whether you know it or not, David and his men, they were fighting with physical swords. They didn't have spiritual power. They were fighting on a physical level. And some of the Israelites were getting put to death. But David was an expert in war on a physical level. The Most High said, David said, the Lord, I'm merely paraphrasing, he taught my hands to fight, my fingers to war, something to that effect. I'm not going to go to it, meaning martial arts. Martial arts, the word martial means war. Okay? The god of war of the Romans is called Mars. So martial means war. All right? So David was a martial artist.
Confused with the lake of fire. Give me Revelations 20. Give me Revelation chapter 20. And I think it falls around verse like 14, 15-ish. Let me look at it with you. Yes. Give me verse 13. Watch this. The book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead, which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead, which were in them. And they were judged, every man, according to their work. So after all of this is said and done, after the judgment comes to America, you understand, when the books are open, everybody's going to be judged according to their works. Understand this. This is hell right now. Captivity is hell. But this is something else. Watch this. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. That's what a lot of people get confused. You understand that? That lake of fire, that's that eternal judgment and punishment. That's
a Roman Catholic doctrine. As far I know for a fact that he wasn't teaching that during the time of the house of David when they kicked us out. this is something new. I don't know when they first started. I don't know if it was this year, last year, 2 years ago, but this is the first time I caught it on this particular video. Then I found another video. I'm not going to look for it, but you can do your own homework. I don't know if Bishop Nate taught it or somebody else that was a leadership. They now teach, but besides, I did a video previously, a couple of months back on this subject. They didn't come back and say, well, we changed that or we never said that and we corrected the guy. That's what they teach. That's a Roman Catholic doctrine. That's a Christian Roman Catholic doctrine about burning in hell forever. And if that was the case, let's say there's 2 billion Israelites on the planet Earth. We're talking about almost 2 billion are going to burn in hell. So the Lord is going to come to deliver a small group of Israelites, and that's it. So that kills the reincarnation thing. That kills the law of, it's in Deuteronomy, but it's also in Exodus 20, around about the 4th or 5th verse, where it says you're going to pay for your sins through your sons and your sons' sons in the third and fourth generation. So these people that are Israelites that are pushed in hell, that's going to burn forever for the next trillion years, they're not going to come back in reincarnation. This is why we do what we do. And GMS, we're the top apologists for this truth that we have. Ain't no other group. What group do you know that's getting on the IUIC? They're clearly going off. And that was never taught to him. That was never taught back there in One West. So you heard, I don't got to listen no more. Like I said, you can go to this thing, IUIC Tennessee, IUIC Hell and the Lake of Fire explained, which he clearly went off on. But he's regurgitating what he learned. If the leadership of the IUIC never taught that, and he would say, well, the Lake of Fire is the U.S. on fire after the missiles hit it, that's how he would have broke it down. So now let's go into these scriptures. I did a lot of running the mouth, but I was quoting scriptures. That's why we got to go back to these breakdowns, go back to these interpretations, these prophetic interpretations, and back to the basics. So let me read that. He went to Revelation 20. I'm going to go to Revelation 19 and 20. It says, and the beast, what's the beast? This system was taken, and with him, the false prophet represent what? When Columbus came over here, what did he bring with him? He brought their brand of, Christianity, that's what the Spanish Inquisition was all about. Anybody that didn't accept the Christianity, they were tortured and they were put to death. When did the disciples go around torturing, grabbing people up and torturing them? This is look. This is not for everybody. It's only for the true believers, which are the elect. So they really adulterated Christianity, because when this man got it, he first of all, he changed all the faces. Judges 9 and 24. And the beast, so we know who the beast is, was taken. How was they taken? By Armageddon, thermonuclear destruction. And with him, the false prophet. Now, the headquarters of the false prophet would be Vatican City, which, by the way, is not Babylon the Great. Like Nazariah and them, they back in the world. They don't even believe in Yahweh Shai. The Most High just took everything from them. They just jakes, just lost jakes, getting ready to get karagmud and getting ready to eat a missile or 2 or 3. And the false prophet, remember it said in Revelation 16, I beheld 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, come out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, that wrought miracles, their miracles and their technology before him, with which he deceived them that had, this is talking about right now, this is getting ready to happen. which deceive, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. The image is not a picture of Caesar Borgia. The image is not Renaissance art. The image is the system. This current system is based upon the old Roman system. It says these both were cast, and that's uh, poetic talk. You know, that's symbolic talk, because the Most High is not going to take NATO and the EU and the Roman Catholic Church and the cardinals and the Pope and just put them up in a big basket and throw them into a lake of fire, which is hell. No, that lake that John saw was the U.S. So is the Vatican City going to taste of fire? They could, but it's really talking about this place. So when this place goes down, this geographical place goes down, their whole system is going down, because some of them are going to be spared. They're going to be saved. Talking about the super elite, Psalms 149. So it says, deceive them that have received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. Now I looked up the word brimstone, right? Let me show you something. The word brimstone is a cleaning agent.
Strong's G 2303.
Thion. Brimstone, divine or spiritual incense, because burning brimstone was regarded as having power to purify and to ward off diseases. Okay, so now let's go from there. Let's go to Revelation 17. Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore. That's the US, because that's the place that's going to be utterly destroyed. The NATO nations are not going to be utterly destroyed. They're going to be hit to a certain degree, but they're not going to be utterly destroyed. Matter of fact, they're still going to be around popping shit, and they're going to fight against us, and we're going to show them the spiritual power, and then they're going to realize that we can defeat these people. It says judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And the waters, the 15, what is the 15 verse tell you the waters are people. Matter of fact, let me go to that. For the ones of you that never went through this. The waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, the US, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. What's that talking about? It's talking about the Israelite, the tribes of Israel. They're all here. The Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, all these, the Ishmaelites, all these nations are here to receive what? This destruction, because none of these nations are going to be delivered. So we know that this the great whore is talking about the U.S. This is the place that's going to be made an example of. This is, as I call it, the great altar. America's nothing but an altar. And we the high holy, the holy men that are bringing judgment against this altar. Then this place is going to be a burnt sacrifice. And the Most High he has to take this place out that way because this is a ceremony. It's going to be a ceremonial divine destruction. That's a topic right there. A ceremonial divine destruction. So this place got to be destroyed according to the Most High, which is a burnt sacrifice. It so goes on the second verse, with whom the kings of the earth, the various nations committed. Kamala Harris, she just got back. This was like 2 months ago. She was out there in Uganda, because in Uganda, which I believe those are Israelites. They're not with the ABC generation, and the penalty is death. So she came with a damn $60 million check, which is chump change. When you give a $60 million to a nation, that's chump change. And they said, nah, fuck your check. You can shove that check where the sun don't shine. We're not changing the law. And that's that fornication that's written of in Revelation. Matter of fact, it's written in this very chapter. Right? And as I'm reading, this is the second verse. The last word in the second verse. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. And what I'm reading right now. Meaning you're going by their policies. All these guys these different nations, what kind of suits do they wear? They wear European style suits with the tie. So that's showing you right there that they're following the democracy came from America. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken, meaning her philosophies, her policies, with the wine of her fornication. So her fornication is what? Her policies. People get aid because they keep the policies of this place. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon the scarlet-colored beast. Now the scarlet-colored beast is separate from the woman. Ultimately, the scarlet-colored beast is going to shoot missiles on the woman, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, when you blaspheme the Most High, if you call the Lord out his name, you're blaspheming him. So you got Israelites that are guilty of blasphemy of the name of the Most High. You come into the fact that you're an Israelite, you no longer call this man Jesus. That came about with a man by the name of Tresino in 1524. He came up with a language, a Renaissance language, not just the art, but the language. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple. And now America's not arrayed in purple and scarlet color, but he's seeing an actual woman that looked good. She had the big bosom, the thick thighs. You know how brothers like it. The shape, the curves, So she was looking very tantalizing, very, she was a sex symbol. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with golden precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Meaning they push this, alphabet stuff. They push this happy stuff, and they push it to the other nations. That's why Kamala Harris was over there bringing human rights. Yeah, this place is fucking done. This place is done. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, and abomination of the earth. I did a video on this, and Apostle Rambam did a video on it. I believe he knows where it is. He can put it up on my site, and I'll re-put it up. If I can find my site, I'll put it up. I did one recently. When you add all this up in the Hebrew, because I happen to own a Hebrew New Testament, This adds up to 666. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints when they first came over here, when Christopher Columbus killed a lot of saints, when they went, when Esau, went to West Africa and killed a lot of saints and brought them over here to America and killed them over here, worked them to death, put them to death. Even today, we're getting killed. And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua, that goes back 2,000 years ago. And what Stephen was a martyr. Peter became a martyr. The 12, except for John, became martyrs. Paul became a martyr. You died for a cause. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now, when you look at that word, admiration means love, meaning in a lustful way. It says, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now the 10 horns represent the EU, which there's now like 30 of them. And then the 7 heads represent, the 10 horns represent the EU. The 7 heads represent going back to the Roman Empire, coming up to date. I'm gonna give you their modern names. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, Germania Major, Germania Minor. Did I miss one? Hold up. Give me a second. You had Rome. You had Great Britain. You had the 2 Germanys. You had France. You had Spain. Wait a minute. Damn, I got caught on this one. Oh, I'm sorry. See, this is what happens. You don't go through this over and over. Rome, Spain, Greece, France, Germany. France, Britain, and the 2 I mentioned the 2 Germany. Let me come back. I'm sorry. The Romans, the Spanish, the French, the British, Germany 1, Germany 2, and Great Britain. I think I mentioned all of them in order. Sometimes it's tongue twister. But the way they used the 7 used to teach it, they used to say Russia was a part of it. Nope, it was not Russia. It was Rome. It was Spain. It was Great Britain. It was Greece. It was France and the 2 Germanys. And I mentioned Great Britain. It says, and then the 8th is this place, which came of the 7, not the 7th, but the 7. But it actually came out of the 7th. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, destruction. That's America. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, which is the elect of Israel. And when they beheld the beast that was and is not and yet is. The beast that was and is not and yet is talking about Rome coming back again, being not and coming back again. This is Rome all over again. It's just not being called Rome. The image of the beast is the Roman system. And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, meaning governments, on which the woman sitteth. So the woman is supported by this beast. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and one that's Rome, and one is not yet come, that's Great Britain, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. That's the 7th. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So the eighth is America. That's a rebirth of the ancient Roman Empire. It's just not being called Rome. Go to Washington, D.C., go to any of the state capitals, they all look like a scene out of Rome. The Roman architecture, which goes back to Esau, Petra, the 10 horns, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. 1 hour represents about 42 years. I'm not going to go all into it, meaning the EU, the EU didn't come into power until I believe it was 10 years, because it was 49 when NATO came into power, and then 40, 58, officially 58. So we're talking about almost another 10 years that they came into power. So when it says 1 hour with the beast, it's talking about their hour's been up. Their 42 years have been up since the year 2000. So we're right when we say the Most High going to take this place out in the year 2000, but he's taking this place out in stages. Really, it started from the 70s. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. That's NATO and the EU, victory of the Lamb. These shall make war with the Lamb, because that's Revelation 12. 2nd Ezra 13, and the Lamb shall overcome them, Yahweh Shai and the angels. Second in command will be Michael, archangel, for he is Lord of lords and kings of kings. Lord of lords is, the word there is Kairos, which means Lord. You know, and king is, I believe it's Basil. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Those are the angels, and those are the elect that's going to be delivered. And he saith unto them, the waters which thou sawest, I read that, represents these different nations. This is also known as the cauldron in the scriptures. This is also known as the great melting pot. America at one time was called the great melting pot because of so many different types of people and cultures. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that is the lake of fire. The lake of fire, what's going to ignite the lake of fire? The missiles and the lasers from the chariots. For the Most High put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. What does that mean? Man's goings are of the Most High. So how can a man then understand his own way? And to agree and to give their kingdom and unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be, or until the words of the Most High be fulfilled. And the woman, the U.S., which thou sawest, is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Because who's the head nation of NATO? It's the U.S. The U.S. told the NATO nations not to get oil from the Russians, and guess what? They suffered for that. So now they begin to hate the whore. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next one. Shalom.